Well, hello. Good morning and happy belated Thanksgiving, as it is Black Friday, the day after Thanksgiving. So, if any of you guys are going shopping out there, I hope you find what you're looking for on today. This is the Revolving Battle Fox, and I am back with another video in my series titled Cosplay. I never remember what I title these things. I always have to look at it. So let's see. So cosplay. How I choose the conventions I want to go to. And so far I've covered 10 out of the 12 that I have written down here. And I'll just go over a brief overview of all the things I've talked about so far. You can find them in my playlist if you want to refer back to them. But so far I've talked about location, genre, community, hotels, VIP passes, popularity, programming, history, YouTube videos, and days. And unless my list gets a little bit longer, which knowing me I would not be surprised if it did, the only two things I have left to talk about is the price and the weather. And as much as I want to talk about the weather, I've been kind of avoiding price because I feel like it might be a little bit of a longer video, a more complex video, because it's going to be talking about several of the things I've listed. And so I'm going to go ahead and talk about price, and after those I'll probably make a general all-encompassing video. Is it encompassing or encompassing? Whatever, it's probably encompassing video, but I'm going to make a video at the end just making it more generalized for the fellow otaku or weeb out there, if you're kind of like me. Actually, I'm actually more on the gamer side of things, but whatever. You know where I'm getting at. So, after I go through the list, I plan on making a generalized version for people to follow. That won't be too heavily emphasized on how I do things, but just more tips of how, or suggestions as to how I would suggest one would look for the con that they want to go to. So price, let's tackle it. Price is a very major thing. It's actually one of the heavy hitters I look for when going to conventions, because it's based on my personal experience and whatnot. Price is going to branch out into several things I've listed. For me, it's going to branch out into location, the hotels, the VIP passes, and the programming, and even the days. Because let's face it, it takes money to go to these things, and unless you're ghosting at a con, which I really don't recommend. Actually, I don't think you should do that. You should pay to get into a con. Support the con life. Stimulate the economy. Economy. I should be a jokester. Maybe I get paid to go on the jokes. Not really. I'm not gonna quit my night job for that. But anyways, what was I talking about? I'm always get off track here. Economy. Yeah, pay to go on to these cons, and if you're a decent human being, yeah, I said it. If you're a decent human being, you pay to go to these things. You don't ghost. You don't try to sneak in or share passes or whatever. You buy your own. But that's another topic for another day. I guess you get on with it. Anyways, all right. So if you're being like the rest of us who pay to get in, you're gonna consider the price, and the pricing is a huge factor, especially if you're going to be staying overnight, which, unless you're staying with family, you have to factor in the hotels too. And not only that, how many days you want to go. Whenever I go to an overnight con, I like to stay from Thursday to Sunday. I like to find conventions that do 4 days instead of 3. Because for me, I know 3 ain't going to be enough. I like to have 4 days and plus. I like even numbers. And I'm not really a big fan of the number 3. Don't ask why, but I'm just not. So I like to do 4-day cons, and as you can imagine, if you're staying in a hotel, 4 is greater than 3, so the price is going to be jacked up by another day, obviously. So you have to consider that. What can you do? Well, what can I do in my budget? What can you do in your budget? Or, you know what? Let's talk about the location. I live in South Carolina, so I've been to Anime Expo in the past. Sadly, I'm not going next year by choice. I have to make a video on that explaining why, because I know people are demanding answers. But but anyways, flying from the East Coast all the way to Los Angeles, California, that's expensive, and you really got to plan for that. And not only that, but the hotels there, which are super expensive as well. And not just that, but that could just be flying anywhere. Just depending on how far you are, travel costs can be jacked up a lot. And on top of that, if you go to like a bigger convention that's very popularity, which was one on my list. I'm sorry, I can't talk this morning, forgive me. I'm always stammering over my words for some reason. But if you're going to like a popular con that has like a lot of popularity in people, they might offer more programming, more than likely. So some conventions, they'll have additional programming at additional costs. I know when I went to Anime Week in Atlanta this year, they had like a little IA or a Vocaloid concert that was not included in the badge. That's an extra $60, and you know, $60 is a lot of money. It's a lot of money, at least for me. I work hard for my money, so, and it gets gone super fast. But yeah, some places like concerts, different things. I know at MomoCon, like, they offer certain panels that you can do. One I wanted to go to, but I didn't go to. It's called Verbal Judo, and it just kind of teaches you how to have self-defense with your mouth. And that was an additional $5, but that wasn't the only pay to get in panel for. So if you're doing a lot of them, the price can increase. And if they have meet and greets of certain celebrities and they charge $40 or $50 for like a couple of selfies or an autograph, or like $60 for like a video selfie combo, or $80 for like a video selfie autograph combo with an additional autograph or whatever, and you got a lot, if you want to meet like a lot of people, a lot of voice actors, actresses or whatever, celebrities, wrestlers, I mean, those packages can add up. So that's another thing with the programming. It's all about first you need to realize what you can do with your budget, and once you realize that, everything else gets a little bit easier. And I know this is kind of focusing more on a general tip, but I am trying to put some of my experience as to how you should go. Like I said, I'm going to make an overall encompassing video, but just in general, but I feel like this definitely needs to be put out there in this video. So yeah, because you know, once you set a budget, you should try your best to stick to it and make a plan about how much money you're going to put aside a month for this, for the hotel and stuff. And a lot of people, including myself, will try to budget over like a year in advance, or at least get the ball rolling on what you're looking at with the price and how you're going to proceed to tackle it. So that's a big thing. Kind of losing my train of thought here, but VIP passes. Some conventions offer specialized or enhanced badges that can cost at least $100 over. Anime Expo badges cost over $500 something dollars. I know that because I don't go to Anime Expo unless I have a premiere badge, and I just sold mine, so I'm not going next year. But again, I'll make a video on that soon, hopefully. But so yeah, that's something you also got to consider in the price. You got to consider the badges. You got to consider where you are, how much it would cost to get to where you need, the hotel, what you're gonna spend on food, what you're gonna spend on leisure, and buying your Dakimakura or your Daki pillow, because I know some of y'all out there will. But you're gonna spend on autographs. What you're gonna spend on statues and all this other stuff. And don't forget your emergency fund. And also include how many conventions you want to hit up in that year, because that's several $1,000s a year, depending on which ones you go to. So that's why I say, all these things considered, this is why the price, it obviously has to be one of the, if it's not the number one, it needs to be at the top. Like, out of this whole list, top 5 for me. Actually, top 3 or top 2. I guess I should rank these. If you guys are curious about how I would rank this list from most important to least important, leave it down in the comments below. I think it'd be kind of cool, but I'll make a video on that if anyone's interested, or I'll put it in the final video if you guys just want to know from my personal perspective. But yeah, it's a no-brainer. Consider the price, consider where you are, consider how much you're willing to spend, and how much you really don't want to go over. And consider where you're going, consider what type of experience you want. Consider everything that you want to do and how much you want to live it up, or if you just want to go bare bones and just enjoy the con without indulging on a lot of things. So just try not to go too much in depth with it. But yeah, I guess that's pretty much all I have to say on this topic here, without rambling on or making it a more general video than it is now. But sorry for all the stuttering and e's. So I'm gonna go ahead and end this video here. I'll probably work on the weather next, about how I choose the conventions, because that one should be an interesting one in my opinion. But in the meantime, if you happen to like this video, or you're a fan of video games or drink tests, taste tests, stuff like that, reviews, feel free to check out the rest of my channel. And if this video has somehow helped you in any type of way, and you want to help, send me to South Carolina Comic Con, because like we're talking about prices, I tend to go to a few of these things that get expensive. Like I said, you don't got to, but if you just feel it like on the inside that you want to help, I'll have the link for that, and for my GoFundMe in the description below. But in the meantime, you guys have a good rest of the Thanksgiving holiday, and I will see you all in the next video. Be sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Do what you gotta do, and I'll see you all until then. Laters.